has a victim mentality. 2. Complains instead of fixing his own problems. 3. He's easily influenced and always looks for validation from others. 4. He can't control his sexual urges and food cravings. 5. He has weak eye contact, sloppy handshake, and afraid to stand for what he believes in. 6. He's a nice guy who struggles to say no. 7. He believes his parents are to blame for his misfortune. 8. He distracts himself with pleasure and has no goals in life. 9. He can't control his emotions and is easily offended. 10. He's desperate and puts women on a pedestal. 11. Likes gossiping about others versus discussing ideas. 12. He's fat and in bad shape, but does nothing about it. 13. Lacks self-discipline and action. 14. Gives constant excuses and complains about his world, but does nothing to change it. 14.
Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. The Lord wanted us an edifying show to the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai. A lot of valid points. I guess some of them I'm going to quote, some I'm going to look up the scriptures on, but this is some great points of weak men. Matter of fact, one scripture I want to get before I go into this, the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra. Matter of fact, let me make sure I get it right. I think it's the 5th chapter. No, I'm sorry, not the 5th chapter. What am I thinking? 2nd Ezra 14 and about 15. No, go down. 17. 2nd Ezra 14 and 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. I'm going to read it again. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. Now, when you go look into history, and we always, go reference to history, history is a very important part of any society. All right. That's why there was books written. So things that you learn, like the scripture says it itself. It says the things that are written is written for our learning, right? And that's talking about the scriptures. But when you go into history of man, you'll notice that men were a certain type of stature, physical and mentally, all right? Very astute, smart, sharp. But as the years went by, from their height even to their mental intellect, it has gotten worse, all right? Everything has gotten worse. So that's why there was a study of a test that was in the 1950s or 40s. I could be wrong. And that test was like, that at that time would be considered for school kids, but it's now to like a college level. All right, because learning the way people take information, the way people are is diminished. So we got to get this out the way first. So the reasoning why we have so many weak men in the world, yes, it is food. Yes, it is the environment, because everything's been conquered and so forth. That's always a debate, but it's also prophetic. And with weak men comes more evil. All right? With weak men comes more evil, because there's certain points that he said the men of old time would not have it. Wouldn't have it because the simple fact is they would stand for something. The majority of people, they're just satisfied for little bread and circuses and trinkets, and they believe that's their rights and that's how they're supposed to be. So the standard, there is no standard anymore. And it's just breeding weak men. Apostle Paul quoted this thing, says, strong men makes easy good times, and weak men make hard times to something extent. Let me make sure I've got the Let me make sure I get it right. To be a strong man. Yep. Strong man creates. Let me get the image. It says, hard times create strong men. Strong man creates good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. And boy, oh boy, that is not a lie. Now, for all the women say, yeah, you see, you guys be on point. Well, guess what? You even more wicked than y'all was already weak already. And y'all even more wicked. Just because you train as a man, you acting like a man, that make you not no man. Everything that this society tells you that men are, that's just the surface level. All right? About the materialistic things and all this other shit. All that shit is just garbage. When all that's taken away from a man, who is he at the end of the day? And this is why this particular thing was so ill, because it's always the same thing. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm do commentary on it. Hit some couple scriptures and let it go. Go ahead.
14 signs of a weak man. 1. He has a victim mentality.
All right, the victim mentality. Right now, the victim mentality is when society picks on you and so forth. Now they could sit there and say, "Oh, you guys always talk about slavery and this, that, to the third." That's not a victim mentality. That's the reality. All right, that's the reality. The scripture says it real quick. Let me get that. Jeremiah 15:5. It says, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemourn thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?" So is that a victim mentality? The Lord is asking this question, right? That's not a victim mentality. That's the reality. So you can't compare what we go through as a people as saying, "Oh, we just playing the role as a victim," because we've been conquered. A conquered people that's complaining have every right to complain. All right, because what, we sin against the Lord. I was gonna get another scripture. We sin against the Lord, so the Lord got us. And these people walking around here talking about Esau, these other nations, they walking around here telling us to get over things, but we always got to remember what happens to them. So there's selective victims out there, all right, compared to real people that's been gotten in society. Real quick, Zechariah 11:5, it says, "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that seldom say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherd pity them not." So, once again, just to answer, just in case somebody stumble upon this and like, yeah, you guys always pull that stunt. No, that's the reality. But today's society, these kids are spoiled. These kids, their minds are just gone. They want to play the role of the victim, because the victim role, that goes to the woman. And it's the vibration out there is the vibration of a woman. Despite they show this statue of a man with muscles and all this other crap, we live in an effeminate vibration, a feminine world. And who always played a role as the victim? The woman. She's not held no accountable for her actions. Accountability is her kryptonite. And the majority of people in this society, that's their kryptonite. All right, they try to deflect instead of feeling sorry for them. Instead of what's the word I'm looking for? Instead of admitting their wrongs. Matter of fact, Apocrypha again, Baruch. I believe it's 2. It could be 3. I'm looking for. I believe it's 3 now. Baruch 3 and 4. O Lord Almighty, the power of Israel, hear now the praise of the dead Israelites, of the children which have sinned before thee. That's somebody that's admitting their faults. All right? That's somebody that's admitting their faults. Psalms, the 51st chapter. That's a man. Once David admitted his faults, that's a man. That's not a person's like, oh, my parents did this, and which is just going to get into. That's admitting your faults. Okay? And not hearken unto the voice of thee, their power, for for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. For thou art the Lord our power, and thee, O Lord, will we praise. That's why it says in Hosea, real quick. Okay, maybe I'm trying to make this quick, but whatever. I just go with the Spirit. Let the Spirit do what the Spirit does. Hosea 5 and 15. It says, I will go and return to my place till they have acknowledged their offense and seek my face in their affliction. They will seek me early. So the Lord was not going to respond until we acknowledge our offenses. So once you admit your offenses, you don't have the role of a victim. You know you're at fault. That's why coming to this truth, you throw that victimship out the window. Like, nah, I fucked up. All right. That's the mentality you're supposed to have. And that's something that does not practice in this world. All right. That's the difference. Hosea 6 and 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn and he will heal us. He hath smitten and he will bind us up. So we got to turn back to the Lord. Admit your faults. That was the only way the Lord was going to accept us, if we admitted our faults. All right. Okay, let this guy go on.
2. Complains instead of fixing his own problems. 3.
So yeah, you have a lot of these guys out there that's complainers, and they don't fix their own problems. All right. Even amongst Jake. See the another difference from us and them, that you have to, in reality, you have to complain. All right, let's be real. Let's not get it twisted. A man that doesn't complain is a man that has psychological problems. That's what scripture says. All right. All those things that he's saying, those are signs of weakness. All right. Flat out. However, I'm going to give you the opposite real quick. Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. It says, surely oppression make up a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So we have every right to complain, to cry unto the Lord. That's what the Lord wants us to do. Okay? So we have the rights to complain. So that's the opposite. Somebody that's sitting there complaining to themselves. Okay, you complaining. So what? What you going to do about it? Right? And we learned just now, we just taught that the Lord wants us to acknowledge our faults. Okay? It's not a thing where you just go and tell a brother, listen, I sinned, this, that. No, you're not the Roman Catholic Church. You know, that's between a man and the Most High, his creator. Admit and change his ways.
2. Complains instead of fixing his own problems. 3. He's easily influenced and always looks for validation from others.
That is a very important attribute that's wrong. A lot of these weak individuals. All right. And that's why a lot of these people get into gangs that go follow trends and so forth, because they're weak. That is a true 100% fact. And I always bring this up. Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. It says, folly said in great dignity. Now we always assume that folly would be, stupidity, acts of stupidity, and so forth. And it's put in a position of, in a high position, which is correct. That is correct. But when you look up the etymon, as soon as I can look at the etymon, I've done this through the spirit all the time. Which one is it? I think it's this one. No. I just type it in. Look up the word folly in it. The etymon folly. It says mental weakness, foolish behavior or character, unwise conduct. So that is what he said is when somebody's trying to look for it to be accepted, that is a weak character. That's a weak man or a weak woman. It's because they don't have no merit. They don't know themselves. They don't trust themselves. They don't love themselves. That's a weakness. That's why scripture says folly said in great dignity. When your mind is full, when your mind is in a weak state, anything can influence you. Anything and everything. That's what scripture also says. I always get this wrong. Proverbs 25. I believe it's 25. Yep, 25 and 28. He that have no rule, which you know what? I gotta hold that. Let me get this. Let it play because it's gonna come up. What the hell happened?
13 signs of a weak man.
What's up to sign 3, right?
He's easily influenced and always looks for validation from others. 4.
And that's a trait of a woman. All right. You know, women wants attention, and some men would do that to get attention. You know, be flashy because they grew up with their mother. That's all they know. Okay, that's a weak man.
He can't control his sexual urges and food cravings.
And that's another sign of weakness. All right, that's a major red flag because you don't control your emotions. Which, like I said, I didn't get the other scripture because it's gonna fit for a lot of these things. All right. A man that sees a woman and he just want to pop her right away, not even knowing. This is why we have a generation of degenerates. Okay, men are not selective. They just take whatever it comes. And this society is a hyper sexual driven society. So if you fall for these tricks, you just deserve. This is why you have a lot of people. Scripture says about a wicked man, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. Like, I mean, just quote some stuff. All right. They were a match made in hell. He may look at a woman for her beauty, and she knows she's full of traps and snares, and got him. She will get him regardless because he's weak. All right. A lot of these so-called thugs, they a bunch of emotional bitches, straight up. When a man looks at another man, he's like, "What you looking at?" That's a clear-cut sign that something the man's not stable. You should be able to walk by and look a man dead in it, what she's gonna say to, look a man dead in his eye and feel no threat. You just like acknowledge each other and that's it. Keep it moving. But this is an emotional generation. All right.
He can't control his sexual urges and food cravings. 5. He has weak eye contact, sloppy handshake, and afraid to stand for what he believes in.
And that right there, that's another bullshit. This is what makes us so different from the rest of this godforsaken world. Because we stand for what we believe in. All right. A couple scriptures in them. Let me get this one, my favorite. Psalms 94. I believe it's 16. Who will raise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? All right. The scripture says, get this real quick. Revelations 11:11. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of the Most High, from the Most High, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. All right. Standing upon their feet doesn't mean you just standing up, going out in the houses and the byways. No, it's meaning you standing on something. All right. That something is Yahweh Shai. Yahushua is our rock. So, Ayla, there was a song, which Poor Righteous Teachers, yeah, Conscious Style with KRS-One, and they say you niggas don't stand for nothing because you don't stand for shit, and that's the actual fact. All right, these people don't believe in anything, but those that believe in something, they're gonna stand upon their feet. They're gonna stand to fight for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, let's let it play on.
Contact, sloppy handshake, and afraid to stand for what he believes in. 6. He's a nice guy who struggles to say no.
And that's an apocrypha. I'm not gonna get it, but that's an apocrypha. You gotta know when to fucking say no. The scripture says, Prophet Sirach 12:1, to know who that do good to. All right, and in that same chapter it tells you, never trust thy enemy as iron rusted. So is wickedness. So you gotta know who you're doing good to, and if you don't know who you're doing good to, you're stupid. All right, you're dumb. The scriptures clearly shows you how to conduct yourself to be a proper man. All right, that's why everybody's just freelancing out there, because growing up, everybody would tell you as a kid, as a young man, you got more girls you pop that makes you a man. It's not about how many girls you pop, okay, how many kids you have. All right, if you're the loudest man in the room, that don't mean shit. That means you just the loudest, you got the loudest voice. That's it. All right, there's certain things that you got to stand up on. And these people don't stand up for nothing. All right? And that's what makes them weak.
He believes his parents are to blame for his misfortune.
And that's called deflecting. A society that deflects. The scripture tells you about they shall complain about ungodly fathers. All right? This Proverbs 30 said also, 30 by like 14. So this is a generation that curses a father and a mother. All right, blaming the parents for every single thing that goes wrong in their lives instead of standing on their 2 feet because they don't believe in anything.
8. He distracts himself with pleasure and has no goals in life.
Oh, that's an apocrypha too. Not to eat, not to be a nigga. All right, when you go, how you conduct yourself. When you be around elders, all right? Don't be the first one to put your hands in the pot or some to that extent. Where food is there. All these things I'm saying is you can find that all in the scriptures. But these are the things that modern day people, men today, are.
9. He can't control his emotions and is easily offended.
That's the one. He can't control his emotions and easily offended. Proverbs 25:28. He that have no rule of his own spirit, which is talking about your emotions, is like a city which is broken down and without walls, which means your mind is open for anything. So you're an emotional wreck. All right? And emotional people get put to death. If a man doesn't maneuver correctly, he can be put to death because of his goddamn emotions. You gotta control your emotions. You're taught to be as a woman in the society. All right, that's a fact.
9. He can't control his emotions and is easily offended. 10. He desperate and puts women on a pedestal.
Oh, there's another one in the apocrypha. I gotta get this one. I was gonna quote it, but oh, sorry, it's not the apocrypha one. Second Esdras. What's the first Esdras? Second Esdras. 4. No, 4. Let me see. No. It's first Esdras. Let me just type it in. Putting women in a goddamn pedestal. That's a goddamn shame. It is though. It is. In actuality, it is a shameful thing. It says, And we was, through the society, it built up simpletons. Second Ezra, the first Ezra 4 and 22. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring on all to a woman? I'll never forget. I always bring this story. I was a job I was working. The boss gave me the checks to give to the men. Give the check to a Benjamite man. Say, "Yep, I'm gonna give this to my wife. All this, and she's gonna give me my allowance." I said, "What?" And he was trying to justify saying that she know how to take care of the bills and so forth. So here you are, you working a bullshit job, getting treated like shit, worth good money, but you're gonna give all that you have to a woman who's undisciplined because she may fool you thinking that she take care of the bills. So a lot of these guys that claim to be men would do foolish shit like this. And there's more attributes. That's just a 9 to 5. It says, yeah, a man takes his sword and go his way to rob and steal. So a lot of niggas got killed, stick up kids trying to look good for a woman, while she gets to fucking suck and keep going, or this nigga's either in the grave or in jail. Sail upon the sea and upon rivers, looketh upon the lion and goeth in darkness, and when he have stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth into his love, if he come back alive. It says, wherefore a man loveth his wife better than mother and father. Yet many there be that have run off their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. So that's a sign of a weak man. All right. And the scriptures cut that. That's what Solomon's mother said, never give that strength unto a woman. Your strength is not talking about your physical strength, it's talking about your all, your everything. Which for us men is what? Time, a mind, okay? When your mind's supposed to be focusing on higher things than yourself. You got a lot of weak men that put these women on a pedestal just because they're the opposite sex. And that's what the society push, all right?
Desperate and puts women on a pedestal. 11. Likes gossiping about others versus discussing ideas.
Yeah,
12.
You got grown men that's towel bearers, all right? That's why you got a lot of these clowns that got podcasts and gossips and all this. They don't know nothing's true. These are all attributes of weakness. These are all attributes of signs of a woman, all right? And that's what the men of Babylon have become.
He's fat and in bad shape, but does nothing about it. 13.
Yeah, your diet has everything it has to do with a lot. All right, that's how estrogen is built up. If a man's not concerned about his physical self, I don't know what to tell you. All right, you gotta carry yourself in that. But yeah, that's another sign of weakness.
Lack self-discipline and action. 14.
Like discipline and action. Go out there splurging when you don't have money to splurge. When you're trying to live for the moment. That's another bad trait.
Gives constant excuses and complains about his world, but does nothing to change it.
And the thing that we're supposed to change is ourselves. All right? Because our greatest foe is what? Yourself. When you look in the mirror, let me get that real quick. James 1. Is it the first chapter? Slack it. I believe it's the first chapter. James 1 and maybe the second chapter. Let me use the other one instead because it says what it says. Looking Glass, I believe. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Oh man, I know it says something in the river. Slovakia. Oh damn. Okay, let me. I just seen that precept too. All right, I know it's in James. It's the second chapter. I know I'm thinking about it. But there's another precept. James 2. Oh, yes. James 2 and... It's talking about faith, but it's something else. Sorry, glass again. It was right in my face. James, okay. 2023. All right. James 1 and 22. Be ye doers of the word, not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. And that's the worst thing that you can do is lie to yourself. All right? You can lie to everybody else. The worst person you can lie is to your goddamn self. Anybody, and majority of these people, that's part of this the strong delusion that the Lord put upon people. All right? They're so committed to their lie that they even lie to themselves. That's a dangerous attribute. All right? And Tawadi Habashim Yahushua for allowing us to understand that. It says, for if any be a hearer of the word, so that means that you hear this word and you got some people that just hear it and take a part, like, yeah, good job, brother, this, that, to the third, but they don't do nothing. They just there to hear. They just there, this is pure entertainment to them. It says, and not a doer, because this thing of ours is about putting forward and being a man that the Lord made you to be. All right? And for you women to be what you was made to be. It's not about just hearing this word, just hearing lessons. It's about doing things, all right, towards this truth. He is likened unto a man beholding his natural face in the glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. And that's a horrible thing. Let me see if there's a precept I'm looking for. It should be in Proverbs. Nope. Try the other one. Well, there's another one in Proverbs that said the reflection. I believe it's called, it says reflection. Oh man, what did I do? Oh, let's go here. So it's not reflection. Let's try. Nope, not river. Or water. Nope, that's not it either. Jeez. All right, basically it says, I don't know if I got which proverb it was. Something to the extent of same thing as looking into the river, because you will see your reflection and not know what kind of manner person you are. So it is a very important thing to know what you're doing, why you're doing it for. All right, we're just not just doing this thing to go blindly. We're doing it because we have a mission. We have something in mind. All right. Took a lot of my time. It says Isaiah 46:10. It says, no, I'm sorry. Isaiah 46:8. It says, remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. And one of the main things, like I stated, you have to do is omit your faults. All right. A man who's going to take the accountability of all his acts. That's a clear-cut sign of a man that's in the path. Because what the Lord said, that's good. The scripture says, 2 Corinthians 4. Yep, 4:16. I'm just writing my face. For which cause we faint not, but through our outer man perish, yet inward man is renewed day by day. So the outer man needs to perish. The outer man is those weak traits. All right? That weakness that we bear, we carry. And of course, the scripture says, through our weakness, we're found. The Lord, is with us. But there's certain things, and there's some good precepts right here. Psalms 51:10, Psalms 40:31, which is a good one. Romans 12:2, which is to conform, right? Put your body as a living sacrifice, transform yourselves. It's a lot of good precepts, all right? Matter of fact, Isaiah, it says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So when we omit our faults, we're renewing our strength, all right? And by us standing for what we truly believe, like our forefathers did, we becoming stronger by the minute, by the second. It says they shall mount up with wings as an eagle. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. That's why we putting our hopes in everything too. Is in Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Another precept came to mind. It kind of escaped me now. Well, it's all right. If I find it, I'll do a show on it. But these are the attributes of being a man. All right, which the world does not teach. Oh yeah, let me end it off on this particular scripture. And you're gonna find, every man, the society believes that a man of value is supposed to have a big pocketbook, all right, bank account at X amount. You got to be a certain height, a certain build, and that's considered to be a man. No, none of that matters. The inward man is the most important thing, and how you become a better inward man, not a weak man like we just heard. Proverbs 1:1. Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David and the king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion, which is what? This book. This is how the path becoming a man is. All right. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. To understand a proverb and interpretation, the words of the wise, and a dark saying, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that's what makes a strong man, which was just everything we just read, and we just saw what makes a weak man. Okay, so with that being said, I want to get brothers edified. Shalom to the elect and the nation Israel. Shalom.